All right, so every now and then I like to turn my attention to the news as to what's going on abroad, not just here in this great country of America. So today I turn my attention towards France, in particular France's leader, their president, Emmanuel Macron. So France's, and this is an article from The Week, the headline reads the following. France's Emmanuel Macron aims to get more people vaccinated by limiting their social lives. You read that correctly. This is incredibly interesting. Let's see what this article has to say. French President Emmanuel Macron on Tuesday said the government won't vaccinate by force, but they do have a plan that he hopes will push the remaining holdouts to get their COVID-19 vaccines. The French Parliament has delayed a vote on a bill that would require a vaccine passport in order to take public transportation or enter public venues. With some exceptions, it is expected to pass later this week. Under current rules, people have been able to get into establishment by showing a negative COVID-19 test result. In an interview Tuesday with the French newspaper Le Parisien, I think that's how you say that, Macron said the goal is to encourage vaccinations by limiting as much as possible their access to activities in social life. This message needs to come across that from January 15, you will no longer be able to go to the restaurant, Macron added. You will no longer be able to go for a coffee. You will no longer be able to go to the theater. You will no longer be able to go to the cinema. One part of Macron's interview caught the attention of his rivals, including right-wing leader Marine Le Pen, another repulsive figure, and Bruno Retailleau, I'm not sure how to say that, a president of the Republicans group in the Senate. Using a French slang word, Macron stated that he wants to piss off people who are not vaccinated. Retailleau told Agence France Presse that no health emergency justifies such words, while Le Pen tweeted, "A president shouldn't say that. Emmanuel Macron is unworthy of his office." With the highly contagious Delta and Omicron variants in play, France recorded 271,686 new COVID infections on Tuesday, its highest daily number since the beginning of the pandemic. This is an incredible move that he's taken. He wants to piss off the unvaccinated. And when I first read that, I thought he meant like, okay, just test the shit out of them, because that seems sufficient, right? Just test, we'll just test you. No, he wants to take away your social life. Whoa, okay, well, let's get into this. So this is a sentiment that I've seen before, and Noam Chomsky came under fire not too long ago for basically saying that if you don't want to get vaccinated, you should be prepared for isolation. And Noam Chomsky is of the belief that, okay, those that want to remain unvaccinated, that's fine, you can do that. We won't force you to get tested. That's incredibly authoritarian. But what we'll do is we'll separate you, we'll alienate you from the population that does choose to get vaccinated because you're a harm, you're a threat to society. What do I think about this? I disagree. I don't think, first of all, we're not forcing anyone to get vaccinations. That's incredibly authoritarian. But I also think it's authoritarian in its own right to alienate people and to force them into isolation. And I just think that's wrong. I don't think that's a good way, a good method to go about getting people vaccinated. And just also as a quick sidebar before I continue, France, I think they've implemented like these vaccine passports. Either they've done it or they're in the process of doing it. And it's actually upticked vaccination. So people fearful of not being able to travel and what have you and go where they want to go have actually gotten vaccinated as a result of this vaccine passport thing over in France. But I even disagree with the vaccine passports. I don't think that should be a thing. Of course, people should go get vaccinated. I am a strong proponent of the vaccine. But it's incredibly odd, I find, the realm of conversation that people are willing to have on this vaccination issue at large. It's either, okay, we're going to go super hard, authoritarian, or we're just going to let COVID run rampant, which is what it's effectively been doing with the Omicron variant, Delta variant. And I've been reading in the news, there's been even newer variants. It doesn't seem like we'll ever get out of this thing. The US, France as well have been seeing an uptick in cases. I mean, it's very ominous, what's been happening with COVID lately, but you don't really get adequate responses, especially not from the US government. I mean, Joe Biden's responses to COVID, it's been inadequate to say the least. It hasn't been incredibly thoughtful, I would say. But in regards to Mr. Macron here, I don't know if this is necessarily a battle he wants to take on. As we know, the French are not afraid to go to bat. They are not afraid to protest. They are not afraid to oppose their leaders. Look, Macron is a repulsive figure in my eyes. I don't think he's a sufficient leader. His antics in the past prove that all too well. And the people of France know him, of course, even greater than I do, because they're the ones that have to deal with him. And so, they've risen up against him in the past, and I don't see a reason for them not to do it again in the future with his restrictions on their social life. I mean, in this capitalistic society with the, ever so growing needs of people not being met, and with this constant alienation and isolation that they receive through whatever means it may be, political means, socioeconomic means, whatever. Now you want to physically alienate them yourself through your power within the government. I think that's just wrong. I think that there's many different ways to reach out to people and get them vaccinated. Now, of course, are there going to be people that you may never be able to reach for whatever reason? They're just so diluted and so far up the ass of these different conspiracy theories are never going to go get vaccinated? Sure. But is that a small, minor portion of the population? I do believe that to be true. But this definitely isn't the way to go about it. And I don't see this ending well for Macron, but that's just my opinion.